at Kangaroo Point, but due to some restructuring in their business, we are now doing a different project for them, which is focusing on fixing some issues surrounding the new legislation and lockout laws.
New laws passed means that Queensland pubs and clubs will have to call last drinks at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. for entertainment party precincts from July 2016. Then coming February 2017, the 1 a.m. lockout laws will apply to venues that provide entertainment.
The lockout laws have been quite controversial around Queensland and are coming into place in the attempt to stop alcohol-fueled violence that has been dominating our news headlines.
Violent brawls and brutal assaults. It's the ugly reality of alcohol-fuelled violence in Brisbane's nightclub precinct. Overnight, 9 News visited Ground Zero as police were run off their feet.
A sickening rampage, fists pounding without a care. A dozen young men spill onto the street outside the GPO Hotel in Fortitude Valley. A short time earlier, they'd been drinking upstairs as mates, now alcohol-fuelled and without a care, taking each other's lives into their own hands. It's 2:30 in the morning before the current lockout laws kick in and comes close to a bloodbath.
Get him! Get him, Zion!
Proposed laws follow a national trend. Here in Queensland, they'll go one step further. They won't just be for a particular suburb, but the whole state.
Springborg says there are cities like Wollongong that's had greater success reducing violence without lockout laws. The government says for every hour you close early, you cut violence by 20%.
Significantly reduces assaults, reduces sexual assaults, makes our towns and cities safer.
Although these lockout laws are coming into place for our safety on the streets, they are also expected to affect thousands of jobs in the nightclub and entertainment industries in Brisbane's Fortitude Valley and City. Hundreds of businesses are now attempting to find a way to capitalise on the government's new legislation to ensure they don't lose their jobs. This is the case for Revelry, and this is where our team comes in.
We initially struggled to meet up with Trent, who is the director of Revelry, and Zach, who is their marketing and brand manager, due to their busy schedules. Kelsey, however, was lucky enough to squeeze in the time to have a phone conference with Trent, where they were able to discuss the changes to our project. Trent explained that due to the new legislation, they needed to revisit their business plan and restructure their venues in order to capitalise on these changes. Their current ideas involve introducing late-night food services at both venues, which can also double as a recovery area to wind down while waiting for cabs or public transport. From the phone conference with Revelry, we were able to gather an overall idea about what they were looking for in regards to their recovery area and some food concepts. They wanted us to do some market research to find out some people's food habits on a night out, whether they eat beforehand, what they crave when they're winding down, and how much they'd like to spend and how they eat it. They wanted us to get 400 responses in a week, so we were able to split this up into 50 responses per person. The surveys were originally hard copy and were going to be taken from people on the street in the valley. However, we decided that it would be a lot more effective to create an online survey and distribute this digitally on social media. The survey was 10 questions long and was all multiple choice and took about 2 minutes to complete. Overall, we gathered 340 responses, which we were pretty happy with, and Revelry were really surprised and were really happy with that. Before our meeting with Revelry, we created a market research summary with graphs and tables about our results. Most of the results were that people preferred food that they could eat with their hands while walking around. It was mainly savoury food and things like burgers, fries, chips, and for drinks it was basically Powerade and water. So after we finalised our survey results, we were lucky enough to go to the Revelry headquarters where we got to meet Trent and Zach in person to discuss our findings and hear their views and visions on what they want to do moving forward. We were also able to go on a tour of the Met and GPO.
So when we met with Zach. We walked around the Met and we had a look at GPO, and Zach was really keen to refurbish and update some of the places within both of those venues. He wanted to update them so that they were fresher, newer, and a lot more catered towards people's new needs when going out, clubbing, drinking. So he wanted to sort of update it. I know that the Met was a lot more sort of closed off. He wanted to open it up, let people have some drinking space on the street. Zach mentioned that he thought that the attitudes of people's drinking habits and also clubbing habits were changing a lot, and he wanted to cater for that with a refurbishment of GPO and also of the Met. So Zach's looking at a proposal from one of his interior designers to refurbish and update both of the clubs to cater more towards people that are wanting to go to bars rather than to clubs, and to have more of a connection with the street rather than being really enclosed, which is what the Met is. It sort of doesn't have any outside access or any street view at all. So what his plans are to update, renew everything so that it suits and caters towards people's changing needs. So to cater towards people's change in attitudes, they want to update the Met from very Asian inspired to a very New York, almost like a cigar bar, but also very New York street, and update the whole thing so that it gives off a completely different vibe.
We think our project's going pretty well so far. What do you think our main challenges have been?
Well, because we're such a big group, our main challenge has definitely been finding a time to meet up, not only with each other but with Trent and Zach as well, because their timetables are so crazy and they have something on almost every day. It's definitely been a lot harder than we've anticipated.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, time's definitely been our biggest obstacle, but Facebook has helped a lot with communication and keeping track of everyone's schedules.
Our current task involves researching successful food trends both in Australia and around the world, and from this, developing 4 new food concepts for each venue. They have specifically asked us to look at what kinds of foods are missing from Brisbane's nightlife and how we can incorporate these new concepts into their existing spaces.
We're really excited with where this project's going. We've received loads of positive feedback from Zach and Trent about all of our ideas. We're currently working on 8 new food concepts for their 2 venues, so stay tuned.